Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on South Africa in essence once again showing the United States the middle finger. Much has been said over this last year with regards to Afriforum, Solidariteit, Kali Kriel and all these people that have committed treason against South Africa, because mainstream media will have you believe that an organization like Afriforum and Solidariteit is to blame for the relationship that has collapsed between South Africa and the United States. And they consistently say it's because of Afriforum and Solidariteit going overseas and spreading lies. But then when something as blatant as what I'm about to show you happens, then mainstream media is completely quiet. Now, before we get into this, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free, and the overwhelming majority of you that regularly watch my content aren't subscribed to this channel. But you can fix that by just clicking the subscribe button below. Alright, so what am I talking about? Well, it seems that South Africa is going to do a naval exercise with countries that is the enemy of the United States. Have a look. So, Newsday reports red flags raised over South Africa's reported joint naval exercise with Iran and Russia. But what they tend to leave out is that it's also China. But I suppose it's because those two nations are internationally sanctioned. It goes on to say South Africa's claim of neutrality on the global stage is under fire as a democratic alliance criticizes the government in its part for hosting Iranian and Russian naval forces. The backlash stems from a city press report stating that Iranian flotillas are en route to South Africa waters to participate in exercise Mossy 3, a multilateral naval drill involving several BRICS nations, which Iran recently became a member of. The DA spokesperson on defense and military veterans, Chris Hutting, said the presence of these sanctioned states contradicts the country's stated foreign policy. Well, that's rich coming from the DA because you are part of the government. Why are you not doing something about this? You see, the DA is still acting like it's the official opposition in this country when it is clearly not. It is part of government. So why aren't you, as part of government, putting an end to this and clearly stating that this cannot happen? But instead, what you do is what you've always done, is you run to the media and then you cry foul. But even though you are in government and you can stop this, so why don't you stop this? Anyway. The media confirmations that Iranian naval vessels are en route to South Africa to participate in the Mossy 3 naval exercise alongside Russia make it increasingly difficult for the government to maintain that South Africa is genuinely pursuing a policy of non-alignment. He added that hosting military forces from countries involved in active conflicts and human rights abuses sends a clear political signal regardless of official government denials. Hutton warned that South Africa's non-aligned stance is being systematically eroded. South Africa's policy of non-alignment is being hollowed out. What begins as quiet military cooperation slips into secrecy and ends in open alignment, he said. According to the DA, these developments are the predictable result of confused foreign policy and poor political judgment, noting that a single UN vote against Russia is undermined by military cooperation with Moscow and Tehran. The Department of Defense did not respond to queries from Newsday about time of publication. Comment will be added if received. Now, concerns over US perceptions. The Tehran Times reported that Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, commander of the naval force of Iranian army, confirmed that the 103rd and 104th flotillas have set sail to Cape Town. According to him, strengthen defense and marine diplomacy and safeguard Iran against multi-dimensional threats through strategic resistance. We take pride in the fact that the products and equipment used are entirely Iranian and align with our national naval strategies and methods. The flotillas are believed to include ships equipped with military drones that have not yet been publicly demonstrated, adding international scrutiny to the maneuvers. Exercise Mossy 3 follows the controversial Mossy 2 when Russia deployed the Admiral Gorshkov frigate capable of firing hypersonic Zircon missiles. While the SANDF describes such exercises as routine, PAS-6 drills for communication, helicopter maneuvers, and logistical replenishment, the geopolitical optics remain sensitive, particularly with the United States. South Africa's relations with the United States have come under increasing strain in recent months, with bills being proposed in the Senate that cite alleged South African alignment with malign actors. The DA has warned that allowing sanctioned states to participate in Mossy 3 further undermines Pretoria's non-aligned stance and risks eroding long-standing defense and strategic partnerships with democratic allies. Now, here's the interesting part: contradictions within the GNU. The DA's criticism is heightened by perceived contradictions within the executive. President Cyril Ramaphosa previously denied any military cooperation with Iran following a controversial visit to Tehran by SANDF Chief General Rudzani Mapwanya in August. "We have no military operations with Iran," Ramaphosa said at the time, while acknowledging that the timing of the visit was poor given geopolitical tensions. Confirmation that Iran will participate in exercise Mossy 3, marking the first time alongside Russia and China, appears to contradict those assurances. The DA said it will demand full transparency on all military exercises involving sanctioned states and seek urgent parliamentary oversight over defense policy. Hutton argues this path places South Africa's democratic partnership at risk, particularly after Iran's president described the country as being in a state of war with Western powers. So there's a lot to unpack here, but let's start with the DA. The DA is in government with the ANC, meaning that they've got ministers and deputy ministers in the executive, and they can ask the ANC to not form part of this. But the DA wants to consistently play the role of opposition whilst they are in government. You cannot do that. You cannot be in government and also be the opposition. That is what dictators do. So for once in your life, pick a lane and stay in it. But you can't be part of government and then consistently complain about what the government is doing. It makes you look like absolute hypocrites, and this is why your support base is leaving you, because you say one thing and you do another. It is absolutely insane. But then the broader image here and the broader picture here is the fact that the ANC is consistent in blaming Afriforum or Solidariteit or alternative media for straining relationships between the United States, and yet here they are doing naval exercises with two countries that has been sanctioned internationally. How does that look for South Africa? The rest of the world has sanctioned Iran and Russia because of the wars that they are involved in, and also the nuclear facilities that Iran was trying to get an atom bomb or nuclear bombs or weapons ready. Why are we associating ourselves with the skunks of the world? And yet mainstream media sees this and they still blame Solidariteit and Afriforum. I mean, just think about this for a second. Solidariteit and Afriforum is blamed for going overseas to speak to the United States about things that are happening in South Africa. Now, what do you think sends a bigger message to the United States? Solidariteit and Afriforum going to the United States and talking about what's happening in this country, or the South African government aligning themselves with China, Russia, and Iran and doing naval exercises? Which one of the two is more detrimental to the relationship between South Africa and the United States? It's quite obvious, right? It's the government doing naval exercises with these sanctioned countries. But mainstream media every single day will tell you that it is the right-wing Afrikaners like Solidariteit and Afriforum, which by the way they aren't. They aren't right-wing and they aren't the ones that are causing the strained relationships. But mainstream media, who of course is the mouthpiece of the ANC, specifically News 24, wants to consistently drive this narrative that, hey, if these right-wing organizations just leave South Africa alone and the United States alone, then everything will be hunky-dory. We won't have sanctions against us. That's going to come very soon. We won't have the tariffs that we have. AGOA and US aid will still be flowing into this country. Bullshit. It is because of the South African government's actions that we are where we are right now. And this naval exercise is just going to hasten the fact that we will get sanctions against us. Because it's quite clear that the United States see Russia, China, and Iran as their enemies. And yet that is who South Africa decides to align themselves with. So whenever in the future you hear mainstream media telling you, oh, these right-wingers, Afriforum and Solidariteit and alternative media should stop running to the United States and causing strained relationships. No, stop talking cock. Stop being the mouthpiece of the ANC and the government. It is not because of these individuals. It's because of the government's actions. Like this, the naval exercise, which is clearly a middle finger to the United States. That is what's causing the strained relationships. The House of Representatives in the United States and the Senate both have bills that they want to implement sanctions against the South African government and South Africa as a whole. And when you read that, you will clearly see that they don't talk about Afriforum or Solidariteit. They talk about their own investigations that they've done. Remember, the United States have got the most intelligence agencies in the world. But yet mainstream media in South Africa wants you to believe that it is Afriforum and Solidariteit that has caused this strained relationship. And yet, when you go and read this article on News 24, you will see that not once do they actually talk about the fact that this is going to cause even more strained relationships. Instead, they act like this isn't happening. But, you know, when Kali Kriel sends an email to the United States, then that is the end of the world. It is sickening to see that this is taking place. And when we have a clear indication of a middle finger being thrown to the United States, then mainstream media is quiet. But God forbid Kali Kriel, Afriforum, Solidariteit, or the alternative media in this country say something, then it's all their fault and they are to blame for everything that has got to do with the South Africa and USA strained relationships. Go figure. It's not Iran, China, and Russia coming to South Africa to do naval drills. No, that's fine. That's fine. But it's, you know, that Afriforum email or visit to the United States that's causing all the havoc. Wake up, South Africa. Stop allowing mainstream media to bullshit you. And for the DA, lastly, pick a lane. Seriously, pick a lane. You are part of the GNU. You cannot be the opposition to. So if you've got something to say about these naval drills that's taking place, then vote for it in the executive. Say that you will leave the GNU if this doesn't stop. But we all know what the answer to that is. They won't. Because ultimately they want to play the opposition and they want to play the government, which fits in nicely with Iran, China, and Russia, because that is exactly what dictators do. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide, subscribe to this channel. Remember, it's absolutely free. And then if you want to contribute to this channel, you can become a member. That'll cost you 39.99 every single month. And you can do that by clicking the join button below. And that is in support of me and this channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got to say, everybody. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.